Okay, this should be live now. Hi. I'm just a bit of a heads up. I really wish I could be in a really good mood right now and this could be a fun, happy, lighthearted stream, but that's not gonna happen. Because of the events happening in the world that I definitely want to talk about, but also I want to address up front that I am white. I have benefited from my whiteness my whole life, and I don't want to talk over people that are black and are dealing with stuff, are genuinely, actually dealing with stuff that I'm only hearing about and want to fix, but I'm not having the same experiences. So I just want to get those out of the way. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not doing well. Again, I I don't want to make this whole stream about me, but also I don't know what the balance is of trying not to make the whole thing about me, but also like genuinely trying to share my experience with it. Because I do want to. I don't know. What's the serious talk? Well, the whole Black Lives Matter and the protests going on. Woot woot. Because it's been very apparent here, because I'm in LA, and there's been a lot of stuff happening. Okay, before we get into the heavy, serious talk, though, I do want to say, do you like the video quality? Because I figured out how to hook up my DSLR to OBS to get high quality video. So, if I get close, the background should get kind of blurry. And I think the color looks really good. So when are we going to scream into the void? Ha! Yeah, I've been trying to find a balance of, because the past few days I've been glued to the news and to Twitter, and it's definitely affected me. Like, I'm constantly I'm angry / scared, and it's and I think I'm the closest to a panic attack that I've ever been in my life, which I don't know because like I've never had a panic attack, which is I'm very blessed, I guess, in that regard. And so I'm not sure if this is what it feels like, but man, it doesn't feel good. So that's been fun. Well, thank you. Yes, the video quality. I like it. I'm hoping that I'll be able to keep this set up in the future. I also boot camped, and so I'm actually doing this from Windows on my MacBook Pro. So yes, I know. I know I'm back on Windows. Here we are again. I'm not sure, you can see the frame rates kind of dropping, and I'm not sure exactly how to fix that. I think that's a problem just with the cable that I'm using. I'm not using a very high quality cable. So, yeah. But, yeah, for more anxiety attack. Okay, maybe it's more of an anxiety attack then. But it's like, yeah, stomach is all knotted. I feel like cold sweat through, or maybe that's a physical issue. Maybe I'm getting sick. I don't know how to interpret what I'm feeling, which is a little bit weird, because I am very, very lucky in that I've never, so far at least, I haven't really struggled with depression, or genuine anxiety. I mean, I've been anxious, definitely, but not struggled with anxiety as an issue. And so I'm trying to figure out what I'm actually feeling versus what my brain is panicking and telling me that I'm feeling, you know? And just for the fun of it, I looked up COVID symptoms, and that didn't help. Because a lot of them was like fever and, excuse me, fatigue, which I've definitely been having, but no breathing issues. So that makes me a little bit hopeful. But I'm definitely staying inside and quarantining. Woot woot. So fun fact about that though, I've still been going on like walks through our neighborhood at around the same time, like 4 or 5 p.m. Every day because it's been really hot. And so right about then the sun's setting and it's a lot cooler. And the other day I was out there. I was pretty far from home, and then I got a notification that there was a curfew in 40 minutes. I was real far from home, so I just had to book it all the way home. So that was cool. But 2020 will be a section in the history books. Yeah. I mean, yeah, genuinely, unironically, absolutely. Like, I mean, when I say not ironically, I mean, like, not even like, haha, that's a joke. In the same way that, like, we joke, like, 2016 Harambe. Like, yeah, that's obviously, in reality, a joke. But, geez, this is actually has very serious stuff going on in the country. Maybe take a break from the news / social media for a while and see if that helps. I have been. And I feel guilty about doing it, honestly, because I'm like, you know, it's a place of privilege for me to be able to block some of the current events out because they're not directly about me and my community, and it's not about things that directly impact me, which is bad. That's not a good thing. But I'm just trying to balance that. Like, I should be leveraging this for, like, just positive to help add to the pile of change, you know, that we want. Like, push, like, if we were all trying to push a car on the road, me push it too. But balancing that with, like, I can't keep doing this. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And I don't know. Yeah, fun fact today, just speaking about the curfew, I was on the phone with my mother, and apparently we got an emergency notification, and apparently those end your calls on an iPhone, or at least it ended our call, which was weird. It also blared, because I was using AirPods, it blared the emergency sound in my ear. Ah! So that was fun. So I had to call Mom back, and then, like, I don't know, 20 minutes later, I'm not sure exactly, I got another notification that they moved the curfew back another hour, which I know is, like, the issue that it again blared in my ear, and then my mom, I had to call her back again. Like, that's not the biggest problem right now, but it was kind of funny, and I just wanted to share it. So, yeah, it's honestly good to talk with you right now, just to get my mind off it. Otherwise, I would be obsessively, like, watching the news right now while scrolling on Twitter. And that is not a good... Right now, I just don't think I can handle it. Hopefully, in, like, a couple hours, I'll be able to. But, like, even right now, I can feel my face starting to flush. And, again, I'm saying this as, like, it's not... I don't know. I feel guilty. And maybe I should be guilty for this kind of thing. But I don't know. I do want to share with you. I wrote something on Facebook, and it was going to be a script for a video, but then I decided not to. Because again, I don't want to drown out black people that are dealing with... I'm trying to pull it up here if you want to go on my phone. Like, black people's experiences, or, like, the very important information that is being shared on the internet. I don't want to dilute that. But, yeah. And specifically, this is a message to... I say, disclaimer, I made this to hopefully reach out to my white friends who were taught the same things I was. So you know it's going to be a fun ride. It's kind of similar to what Rhett of Rhett and Link posted. he had written a letter to his younger self. And this is sort of that, but not quite. So in school, I was never taught about the double standard, the despicable violence against and subsequent lying about actions against people of color, and specifically black people. I was taught that racism was a bad, bad thing, but it's over now. Everyone gets along. The police are completely neutral, and anyone who disagrees is just ignorant. And this is wrong. This is a lie. It is wrong that this blatant lie is still being taught to children who fully trust the adults in their lives and will grow up with this as a core concept deep within. And believe me, I so wish that that was the case. You know, I long for the day when every race is celebrated, is treated completely fairly and equally by all. But sadly, that is absolutely not the case right now, and it will not be for a long time. Centuries of slavery is not easily balanced. Segregation was law only a few decades ago. That and those disgusting people are still alive today. That mentality still influences our culture. Let me repeat, segregation was law only a few decades ago. There is so much modern injustice. When a white parent gives the talk, you know, that expression is a funny euphemism for telling them about the facts of sex. When a black parent gives the talk, it is an incredibly serious warning to their children for how to avoid being murdered by the police. I was never, ever taught that the police should be something to be feared. That I was ever in any danger by simply alerting them to my presence. Black children are taught the opposite. Not as any kind of propaganda, but for basic survival. And they have not kept this a secret. Black people have been shouting the treatment they have been receiving for decades. I have no excuse now for not being aware of this. I'm no longer a child, merely repeating what was taught me to write down on a test. White people have told themselves not to listen, that they are just exaggerating, that they are just as much to blame as the ones in power. Wow, I just noticed a big typo in this. If you are white and are more upset at the destruction of inanimate objects than the systematic murder of human lives, then that shows your heart. I'm not saying that all white people are racist. Just repeating what I was taught to believe was reality. And I want to take a break from that and just explain that further, because I had some controversy in the comments from someone saying and I just want to clarify that I'm not talking about individual racism. I fully believe that, at least I seriously hope that the majority of white children growing up today are being taught all about how evil racism is, and there's a genuine push to not, to eradicate racism in any way, shape, and form by the parents. At least I certainly hope so. But that is a different thing than the systematic racism that is in our society. They are different things, and so that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about individual racism. I'm talking about a collective system set up. Okay, back to this. If you are white and find yourself sympathizing more with the state police system than the people protesting for fair regulation within that system, let me take this opportunity to say to you, I do understand where you are coming from. But you have to look at this situation objectively. The underdogs in this situation are the ones without deadly weapons, who are not committing acts of violence against other human beings. Side note again, I'm not talking about the breaking into and looting of stores. That's not what I'm talking about when I say violence. That's a whole other can of worms that I'm not going to get into right now. But specifically, I'm talking about the sorry. I'm specifically talking about the attacks on the Black Lives Matter protesters. There have been no attempts on the officers' lives by the BLM movement, despite the police system having so much black blood on their hands. If you are white, the bare minimum you can do to help this situation is to truly listen to your black brothers and sisters as they attempt to explain for the umpteenth time why these protests are happening. Just listen, please. And I elaborated a little more that, and listening, by the way, is just the bare minimum that should hopefully lead to further action towards justice by anyone with a sense of morality. And I also want to make it clear that it is not the job of black people to inform you, because the information has been shared so many times that it's just a matter of like looking for it yourself. So it's like there shouldn't be a further burden on black people to explain this yet again. So that was my Facebook post. Woo, woo, woo. And I hope that I'm speaking as a white person to fellow white people, especially who many people I was kind of indirectly writing to that I know from the South. I wouldn't necessarily call them friends, but just people I know. So yeah, that's kind of a fun time. I'm really sorry that this is not a very upbeat stream, but right now this is a very not upbeat situation, and it feels incredibly wrong and inappropriate to pretend like we're not finally, hopefully, confronting and prayerfully taking steps to fix such a horrible system and situation that has been left unchecked for so long. Also, I want to say hi, Joita. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not how you pronounce your name. You've told me your name. I'm sorry. How do you pronounce your name? I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names, and that's not an excuse. Just ask Stefan. Oh, goodness. So, yeah. That's that. There's a time for joy and a time for mourning. That's true. And I don't even know if I would consider this... I guess it's mourning. It's mourning for all the innocent people who were killed, murdered in cold blood. And if we can't... I'm sorry, it's Jovita. Jovita? I'm sorry. Jovita. I think it's Jovita, but I could be wrong about that. So yeah, that's kind of what I have to say about that. And I also definitely want to make clear that I'm speaking as an outsider looking into the situation, because again, I have benefited from this system. I have not had to ever fear about the idea of, say, the idea of, like, say you get home and somebody is breaking into your house. The idea of not calling 911 is a foreign concept to my head, but it's the daily reality of so many people. And so yeah, that's that. on a slightly lighter note, I guess, because I think I've said as much as I can about that. This has been an okay week. I mean, it's been a very heavy, very solemn, very somber, very angry week. Anyone, well, and by anyone who is interact, I mean basically just my grandmother and Susan can attest. Like, I've been more angry this week than I think I've been in the past year, and it's bizarre. And that might also what's been leading me to just physically feel awful. But yeah, we all have good and bad days. It's okay to express them. It's healthy. Thank you. Yeah, and it's as somebody that, despite how many times I've said I don't want to do it, like I've kind of based my, I don't want to say personality, but like a sense of identity on the guy who's always upbeat. And like, that's definitely not been the case this week. I wanted to scream more than ever, and it's hard to kind of remind yourself that expressing emotions is okay. It's just what you do. The emotions shouldn't be a be-all and end-all. They should be the push forward. It's like the motor of a boat. You know, you turn on the motor in the air and nothing happens. It's just wasting fuel. But if you use the motor to guide your actions, if you use your emotions to give yourself the push to actually do things and help, hopefully, God willing, that there be change, then I think that's a good thing. Yes, Hannah, I did in fact swear for the first time on the internet. And that was, I legit pondered that for like 15 minutes. I had that in my drafts and I was like, I should do, I'm not, but then like I thought, like, how stupid is it that I'm more worried about this particular word than the situation that I'm describing. And there's no other word. If I had said, if you don't know, I said that the whole situation, the fact that, quote, Black Lives Matter is even controversial is so, and then I dropped a 4-letter word that starts with the letter F, because I could have said it's so messed up, but that doesn't, that's not anywhere near the severity. And I realized, like, I'm more worried. Or not worried, but I have stronger emotions about the thought of me just saying this word when I personally think it is justified, and it is the best word to describe the situation. I feel more worked up about that than the actual situation itself. Screw that. Except I didn't say screw that. And the hit tweet. So yeah. And granted, it wasn't like a standalone tweet. It was a reaction or a comment on a previous tweet, but I don't know. I've been really struggling with wrestling the idea of, I want to speak out about this, but I don't want to dilute when other people are speaking out more eloquently, saying what I wish to say, or what I wish more people would hear. And definitely, I want to more. I had a talk with this with a good friend of mine about amplifying Black voices and art and things that have been traditionally more pushed down. Now it's using like the platform that I have, which is not a big platform, obviously. I'm definitely a small YouTuber, small Twitter, whatever, but I don't care. I want to, I think the more that this is talked about, even in general by anybody, the better. I have seen people that I never expected just in my life that I have known from my past to say things positively that I did not see coming at all. And that's been incredibly encouraging. And so I do hope that a positive... I'm sorry, there are parrots outside? Because you know how our neighborhood has a thing of peacocks, right? Well, we also have parrots. Somebody let their parrots loose, and then they breeded, and now we have a giant flock of like bright green parrots that'll occasionally fly overhead and be really loud. And if you could hear that, that's what that was. So yeah, that's been the fun situation recently. And I really struggled with the thought of even talking about this on this stream, because originally I didn't want this stream to be about this subject, which is selfish of me, absolutely. 2020 is so bad it made Chris cuss. Yeah, I know, right? What's next? It's the apocalypse right there. Somebody, I think Hannah actually sent me a TikTok where it was like, space debris missed landing. It landed in the ocean, but it missed us. And the person was just like, could you give us a minute, please? And of course, recreating a funny TikTok will never be nearly as good. But yeah, like I'm just trying to balance speaking out with not diluting the conversation or making it about me, as white people are very apt to do in situations like this. And I do also want to just clarify, because I'm sure that me listening to this 7 years ago, say 8 years ago, would have said, why are you saying white people? You know? Just because... And I would like to think that I wasn't racist, but that's not good enough, just simply not being racist. You know, that's the absolute bare... So I'm not necessarily speaking to you, I'm speaking to my younger self at this point. But in order to get better as humans, as a society, the bar is not just don't be racist and treat everyone equally. It's then fix situations where other people are being racist. Because it's like a tug of war, but you know, and the goal is to advance society forwards. But you can't do that when you settle for just staying in one place. You have to continuously push forward. Yes, and this is not a political issue. You know, I've tried, despite me definitely holding very strong political opinions online, because I have changed so much of my personal beliefs and opinions and leanings and things that I thought were absolutely 1,000% true and obvious to anybody, I now have fully double backed. I'm always worried, like, I could do that about my current beliefs. And then won't I look like Boo Boo the Fool? Just like how some of the things that I had previously said on the internet, and like Chris McGowan probably knows what I'm talking about, like the modest is hottest thing. Like, I made that 100% sincerely and trying what I thought was trying to help people, which obviously it wasn't. It was just rude. But there's always a thought in the back of my mind that could be the situation right now. And so I've tried to, despite me feeling very... If you want to know, just look at my Twitter likes. Um, but this situation, I think, it shouldn't even be a political issue. You know, I believe like politics are things like what should the educational budget be, which is a very important thing. It's a very important conversation, and it will definitely impact the future, but that is political. When it involves other people's lives and whether they are human and should be treated completely fairly, that's not a political issue. That's a human thing. And I guess at the end of the day, everything is political. But I don't know. I just can't. I'm not going to change my opinion on this. I know that for a fact. And God forbid, if I ever do, then please slap me. Cancel me. I don't care. But this. The Black Lives Matter? How is that possibly controversial? Oh, Stefan is here. Wait, is he? Yes, hey! The way I typed out one long stream with no context in a venting channel on Discord, everyone on the server is like, same and indeed. Yeah. It'd be like that. So, yeah. That is a lot off my chest, honestly, to say publicly. Because like I was like, well, this is way too long to fit on an Instagram story. Definitely too long to fit on Twitter. I don't know if I want to make this a YouTube video. Because again, I don't want to drown out. I don't want people that don't know who I am to come to this when they could be spending that same time with people that are a lot, more informed on the situation. Nia, yeah. So, again, take everything I say with a truckload of salt. I don't know really what I'm talking about as somebody that, obviously is not black and has not had to deal with the things and is trying to learn, but that's completely different. It's like the difference between learning that the War of 1812 occurred in 1812 versus being actually on the battlefield and feeling all of the emotions of rush. Like, it's a completely different thing, and I don't want to speak over people that are dealing with the genuine situation. And yeah. So that's that. That was a whole half hour of nonstop talking. I don't want to stop talking about this. I don't know. It is. Hello, Judy. Hi. I don't know what that was. Also, people saying, like, I'll never cancel you. Well, thank you. But also, like, if I do am, like, actually, like, canceled, then I'll probably deserve it. TBH. Please hold me accountable, is what I'm saying. Because I'm human, and I would like the one thing I've really tried to make a personality trait intentionally is like not putting my identity in my opinions, with a few exceptions, and this is one of them. But I wish to, if I say something like which is gonna happen inevitably, it's happened before, it will happen again, And I would like to please tell me when I do something wrong. And I genuinely, like, because I don't want to, and I want to learn what is acceptable and what is not. And I'm trying to teach myself, but I don't know what it is I don't know. But please cancel me if I refuse to learn and grow from the situation. If I ever make like an apology, and you know what I mean by apology, then turn on me, please. Because that's not someone that present me supports. Um. Uh, well, thank you, Stefan. That means a lot, and I appreciate that. I also don't though want to. You know what sucks? What sucks is even though I know how bad like performance wokeness is or whatever, like that's disgusting. It's so hard to fight the temptation to, like, after I posted something on Twitter, to constantly check the notifications. And so, like, please, like, I appreciate your kind words, thank you, but please take them to people that have not had them as much as I have. I'm very, 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 very lucky and privileged. And sorry, Chris, that's a fun. You get a funny comment for the night. That was good. That was funny. What was I saying? Shoot, I totally got distracted. Oh yes, my experience on the internet has overwhelmingly been positive. And I'm very thankful for that. It is, as much as it probably shouldn't have, it has impacted me and my personality growing up, because I've grown up with this. You know? I started making, well, technically I didn't grow up with it, but I started when I was like, what, 18? Maybe? Because I know my 19th birthday was vlogged and is online. And I'm very lucky to be in a situation where, for the most part, I get people complimenting me constantly. And it's great, and I'm very, very lucky. But I'm almost wondering, is that healthy? Like, I don't know. Wow, we're getting real. This is things that I really haven't talked about with anybody. But it's true. Like, I don't know. I don't know exactly where I was going with that, what my point was. Also, it's really bugging me, the whole frame rate situation. This should be 30 frames a second, but I think I'm just using a bad cable. So apologies about the low frame rate here. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for the compliments for my whole life. And I want to push that, the positive, I hesitate to say energy because the connotations that word has with, like, you know, peace, man, healing crystals, like all that. Nah. But I don't know a better word for it. I want to push that in a direction that will not just impact me, but hopefully local society, the country society, and global society. Because, like, Susan and I have had talks about what the BLM movement means in Malaysia. Because their demographics are a little bit different than here in the US. And it has been really interesting to see, or like I have a couple friends in Canada, to see their opinion on this whole thing, because like we kind of imagine this as a very US centric thing, but unfortunately it's not. And so it's a push. I don't know. It's you know, it is. It's. I probably should have started this with the firm conclusion, but I really don't have one. I feel like I've kind of said everything I wish to say, and I hope that I hope that I hope that you agree, obviously, because I'm human, and also because I think this is the kind of thing there shouldn't really be any disagreements. Like, so, um, your best critics are God, your family. True, very true. I just got off the phone with my mother about the whole situation, and she had slightly differing opinions on some of the specifics. But it was really interesting to have this kind of conversation about race relations as with your mother as two adults, not as a mother and child dynamic. But I felt like I could say, no, mom, you're wrong. And she could say that back to me, and it wasn't dismissive. It was really cool. And that was kind of the highlight of my day, as weird as it sounds. Like, because it's not like we didn't like get angry at each other. We both explained our points, and I think both appreciated the other's words and definitely ended the call in agreement that the Black Lives, actually we pretty much ended perfectly in agreement now that I think about it. So that's good. I love my mother with all my heart, but it's been good to have these kind of conversations with people that I did not expect to have these kinds of conversations with. And I think that also has been a sign of good things. And when I say have these conversations with, I'm specifically talking about like fellow white people that I know from growing up in the South that you almost certainly don't know. Just like my personal life before YouTube ever started. People that were very much like country, let's just say. And it's been really cool to see the conversation shift from dismissive to earnest enthusiasm in support. Not just curiosity, but earnest enthusiasm. And so, yeah, I hope that that's a good sign. I desperately pray that these will help, that the people that need to listen and change will listen and change, and race relations in America specifically, but then in the wider world, will get so much better. And justice, true justice, will be served. Served doesn't even sound like the right word. True justice will be dealt. Because the ultimate goal is for everybody, for every race, every sexuality, as we head into Pride Month here, every person to be celebrated for the unique gifts, the unique skills, the unique perspectives that they bring to our global conversation and just the world. You know, it's like every one should be celebrated. Whew, so we're getting heavy and real, and sorry for, I know, hopefully, prayerfully, things will get better and it will feel more appropriate to be more lighthearted, but right now this is just very real stuff that needs to be said. Also, Candace asks, please, I'm definitely gonna be staying inside more. I'm not going for more walks anymore for two reasons. One is just quarantine, and I haven't been feeling very good, so I mean, I haven't interacted with anybody, but maybe I caught it, I don't know, floating in the air. I've heard that happens because I've passed neighbors, because some of our neighbors have decided that they don't need to wear a mask. I'm not our direct door neighbors, by the way. I know I'm looking in that direction, but they actually have been I've noticed that they've definitely been wearing masks. So it's not them. Not that you should know my neighbors. That's a little bit creepy. I need to change the subject because this is downhilling very fast. Oh, bye, Nia. Whew. And I feel like I've talked a lot. And I do want to, like, I want this to be I guess I shouldn't have called this serious talk. I should have called it a serious conversation, because I do want to talk with a variety of people for the variety maybe of perspectives. Which, just to clarify, like, I do genuinely believe there is only one acceptable opinion about this, but I want to see the various perspectives that people are coming from. Does that make any sense? Like, maybe your the situations you have been in where, or like your experience with this whole situation, or maybe specifically the protests. I don't know. We haven't had any. I probably shouldn't say that. That could dox me. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but if I am curious to hear what perspective of the people can bring to the table. The only thing you shouldn't be sharing at this point is your personal. I know, I have a problem with that, don't I? Ha ha ha. Legit, as Stefan said last week, like, somebody could probably figure out where I live, which is a little bit terrifying. And please, definitely not a challenge. Please don't. I'm very uncomfortable with that, as I think anyone would be, not just like an online person, but just like as a person. Unable to connect to chat. Oh, that's weird. Why? I hope this hasn't done the thing. Oh, okay. We're back. Okay, sweet. Sorry. I saw unable to connect to chat, and I was like, oh no, we're not having the claiming thing happen again, huh? But no, that does not seem to be the case. But saying my life, bye. Thank you for listening to me just ramble for 48 minutes. I don't know how you've done it. Because, again, this boy doesn't know what he's talking about. Yeah, well, thank you, Chris. And yeah, like, I trust you with my address. That's also because we're like genuine friends. Yeah. Yeah, Stefan's whole comment here. So, saying, just for the future, this has been a pretty crazy time for me and my brothers, being young black men and sort of discovering our role in all of this. But I've been encouraged by how many people are standing beside us and supporting us. So that's, I guess that's good. I'm not sure exactly if I should say that's good or bad. But yeah. Stefan, I do just want to say, like, directly to you that you're awesome, and I'm glad to have gotten to know you through the internet, and you're really cool, man. And also, your TikToks are funny. And you have an awesome singing voice. Okay, sorry, that was unrelated to your comment. I just wanted to say that before I forgot, because I meant to say that, like, last time, but then totally forgot. I think people are seeing some things differently this time and are actually intending to take action. I pray so. I pray so. And it's hard because, like, I do want to attend the protest, but I can't. At least I don't feel comfortable doing it because the whole COVID thing still going on, and my grandmother, it would be very bad if she got it. And so I don't want to risk anything happening to her. And so I've tried to share with other people. I don't know how it's going, but yeah, I have finished this water. Been drinking a lot of water, man. It's really important. So thank you again for just letting me talk and ramble and go in all different directions. And yeah, I know, and I also do just want to get that out there. Like, I know that no one needs my approval, but if you are Black going through this time, I love you and support you. And if you're like everybody, I love and support you, but specifically people that are disadvantaged in the current society, the way that society has been set up. And I know I sound like the Joker constantly saying society, but I think the white people that have benefited from it, oftentimes without even realizing it. And it's not, I do want to also say to, like, my fellow white people, saying that you have benefited from this is not something, it's not saying you have necessarily done anything wrong. You know, I hear the term white guilt thrown around a lot, and I think that misses the point. You know, because you're benefiting from something unconsciously. You know, it's not that I have people constantly shouting my praise just because I happen to have been born from the particular parents that I was born from. It's that certain things have just never been a consideration for me in the way that they have been considered a conscious thought for many other people. And so, with that being said, I think that the people that are benefiting from this system, in this situation, in this society, should use that to push people that are not forward. It's like, I'm trying to think of a good example. Which suddenly I can't think of a good example at all. I know there are good examples, but yeah, and I know I pretty much exclusively made this conversation. I apologize if you're not Black or white. Like, I haven't really touched on other, but that's mostly because I don't know. That's a whole other can of worms that I'm very unknowledgeable about. And so, like, Susan has more opinions about, like, Black and Asian relations than I do. And I don't know how, like, Latinx, I don't know how that all works. I can just speak from my personal experience, which is as a white person, raised as a white person. So yes, and I just want to make that clear if they're, to the white people watching this or that will be watching this in the future, like you don't need to feel guilty for being born white, but you have to recognize that the privilege that you have been given means that there are things that you don't need to worry about. And then use that. It's a tool. Well, I hesitate to say tool because that makes it sound like a positive situation, which it's not. It sucks. Everybody should be totally equal. Abso-freaking-lutely. But that, unfortunately, is not the way that things are right now. And so we need to push to make that so. To balance the balance till it's balanced. You know what I mean. Okay, so that was a lot. And thank you for, again, just letting me ramble. I just noticed you can see in the mirror behind me, you can see what I look like talking to you. And man, my posture is awful. I need to be doing the rest of the stream like this. Yes, puff out the chest. But I really like the setup. And I hope that I hope that you like this setup. I do need to figure out, I don't like that you can see that light stand in the back. But I like how light and open the room, looks. I think the white balance is a little bit off. It's a little bit orange. Does it seem a little bit warm to you? I feel like I should make it a little bit cooler so that my bed, like you see how my bed looks a little bit yellow orange? I feel like I need to fix that next week. I'm vibing with this new angle. Well, thank you. Yes, I mounted. I have set my DSLR, my 70D, on a tripod, right behind my desk. I took off one of the legs previously. I'd taken off one of the legs of a 3-legged tripod, so it's just 2 legs, and that is currently up here. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. Because I can do that. Assuming it'll focus. The setup is really cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, so it's just my DSLR camera with the Tokina 11-16mm lens. Setup. It's not recording or anything. I just plugged it in via USB cable, and Canon just released this special beta software where you can connect your camera to the computer and use it as a webcam, which I think is super dope. And so that's what I've done. And it took me forever to figure out, because it wasn't really working, because I was plugging in my camera via a USB hub. And no, you have to just plug it directly into the computer. But now it all is set up. And I heard that Windows is runs OBS better than Mac. So I installed Windows on this computer. And I know, shocker, I'm using Windows. Right now, I'm currently using Windows, Mac, and Linux at the same time, and it's really confusing. I'll go to do something in one, be like, I'll be in Windows and hit Command Space, which basically for Windows people, that like opens up essentially the search like taskbar from the Windows Start button. It opens up like, yeah, but obviously Command, because the weird thing is I still have a Mac keyboard for a Windows computer. And so I have to, it's weird. It's so weird. Yeah. Anyway, I probably should start wrapping this up, but thank you for letting me get all of this off my chest. I'm still going to try to be, I don't know, not careful. I feel like kind of guilty for like just not looking at the situations that are unfolding, but I feel like I can't right now, maybe in the morning, but night times are really hard for me. I don't even know why I just told you that, but thank you. Thank you for the virtual hug. Virtual hug right now. Come on. Grrr. And oh goodness, you could see my armpit hair. That's embarrassing. Anywho, thanks for letting me talk. Thank you for listening, which I guess are two different things. And prayerfully, this isn't just a situation where we like get through it, but this will be a positive thing in the same way that protests have been in the past. So prayerfully, this significantly changes things, both on an individual level and a societal level. Yeah. Here's hoping. Just do what we can. And thank you, Yovita, for waking up so early for joining the stream. Appreciate that. Now take a nap later this afternoon. Yeah. Thank you so much for letting me talk. Thank you for listening. Please support Black art specifically right now. Black voices, and we're gonna get through this, and not just get through it, but prayerfully things will get so much better. It's 5 a.m. in Poland. Oof. Yes, take a nap. Hope to see you maybe this year. Yes, Chris, I'm hoping. We've been in talks, is all I'll say.